Alright, we're going to be taking our first look at the first skill card coming out for the TCG. Now, for those of you that don't know, Konami has wanted to make Duel Links into an IRL spectacle for a little while. I'm not going to lie to you, I don't know how this is going to go. You are only allowed to dedicate cards from the specific format and the specific marked cards to the format, which means if you have, for say, an Amazona's Archer from the original set, you can't play it in this format. It has to specifically be marked. Now, I don't know how I feel about this, as I said in previous videos, but I guess I get what they're trying to do, but it's really awkward when you're doing like core sets and you're going to be like, oh, well, I want to put that card as being able to be illegal for this format. I don't know, going forward, it just kind of seems like a mess, and I don't think that sets specifically designed for this are going to sell. If you look at past sets, like Battle Pack, look where those sets have gotten us now. Granted, people want to draft many years later after the set is out of circulation, but it's not as desired and it's not as wanted with these things. Konami, you almost have to make a good set for this to happen. I think that's what they're trying to do here with Speed Duels. They're trying to push another alternate format. Magic has a lot of success with just creating their alternate formats and things like that. Hell, I think they have, what, 5 to 6 formats between Legacy, Modern, Standard, whatever the deck, the 60-card one-of deck is. I can never remember it, but you usually play it with friends. It's usually pretty good. And then there's Pauper, which is all commons, and a bunch of other formats. So Magic's got a lot going for it. I see Yu-Gi-Oh! Trying to do this too, but to what success and validity they're going to actually have, I don't know. So, all right, well, anyway, the first setup here is we have the rules. So Konami's blog has decided to give players a brief glimpse at what skill cards from Speed Duel decks will be like, as well as some of the special format rules. So, first off, each player only is going to have 4,000 life points. This is very reminiscent of Duel Links. A lot of you guys should also be reminiscent of this from, Yusei's time. So, gotta love it. Each player starts with 4 cards in their hand. So, I know a lot of people need to realize also with things being condensed down for like the Speed Duel, 4-card hands, along with deck size being smaller, it's not a lot less resources, but the game is effectively faster, and people need to realize that. Like, the ceiling of power cards gets a lot more ridiculous as we enter into things like this. So do keep that in mind, that things are going to be a little crazy. Now, as I was saying, with that, the main deck size is going to be 20 to 30 cards. Now, you thought having a standardized deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! Already was pretty crazy. Well, what happens if something becomes broken in this era? What happens if somebody exploits something? Now, I know Konami's going to be watching this format very closely. Oh, the problems we have in the TCG probably will not arise in this format, but you also have to understand, smaller decks means a lot more problems. A lot more of your opponent running into those more consistent cards to kind of beat your ass with. So, Konami, this format just seems risky. Like, imagine Exodia in this format. I think the only way to play Exodia in Duel Links was to have Yugi's special skill kick off and force add it to the deck, so your 20-card deck would be 25. So, I mean, trying to kind of compensate it that way is pretty weird. Now, 5-card maximum size in the extra deck. So this one's interesting to me, because when you look at the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! As it is now, the thing that makes it broken is the fact that there are so many extra deck monster zones. Let's be real here. Or so many extra deck monsters you have access to. If you were to cut that number down, then you would place the power on main deck monsters. When was the last time you saw Chaos Emperor Dragon or Blockluster Soldier, besides Burning Abyss, Sekka Turbo, be relevant? Let's be honest here. Main deck boss monsters, you have to draw them. If they're in the extra deck, you just get access to them at all stages in the game. So a 5-card extra deck, interesting. I will say that. I'm very intrigued to see how they intend for that particular part of the game to go. But smaller decks means less boss monsters, less particular outs, I guess. Now, we'll talk about the skill card, and skill card effects do not use the chain. Oh, that's interesting. So, skill cards just happen. Huh. Does that mean if I draw a card with a skill card, that a card that would chain onto my opponent drawing would not cause a chain? I might be reading a little bit too far into this, but I believe skill cards they're a skill that cannot be interrupted. And if that's the case, that's really fucking good, actually. I will take that immensely, because having your opponent be able to chain onto your skill card almost just kind of seems unfair, but it's again in a limited format like this, like the standardized problems of Yu-Gi-Oh! Should not hypothetically exist. And if they do, I'm sure Konami can just answer them and remove them from the game. So, hopefully, that's what I'm taking from this. Now, this next one is an interesting point here. Extra deck monsters can be placed in the main monster zone. There is no extra monster zones on the field. Huh. So, my trade-off for playing in this format is you're telling me that I don't have to deal with my opponent trying to produce 5 monsters and lock me out of the thing with their entire 5 monster extra deck? No way. That's interesting. It also prevents you from having 4 monsters on the field, which is actually pretty much a good thing. So I will take that. That seems like a generically appeasing aspect of this. Yeah, my Stardust Dragon goes in the main monster zone. Huh, it's almost reminiscent of Master Rule 3. Okay, so each player has 3 main monster zones, 3 spell and trap card zones, 1 field zone, and a graveyard. Okay, that's pretty standard for what we've come to know and love. The first player doesn't draw on their first turn. The hand size limit is 6, and both players can have an active field spell and a maximum of 3 copies of any card and the same name in both the main deck and the extra deck. Alright. This is just watered down current Yu-Gi-Oh! Okay, cool. Each player will only have 1 skill card that they're placing near the duel field at the start. There's no main phase 2, so remember to set any spell and trap cards before you enter your battle phase. Oh man, Evenly Magic gets so much value. As noted, you can place a skill card next to your field player. Both players can see it clearly. Afterwards, you can flip these cards over once you've fulfilled the conditions to activate them, to carry them over from the official R&D. So, here's how this works. At the beginning of the game, you will place your skill card face down near the playing area. Your opponent should be able to see your character, but not which skill you have chosen to use. Almost all cards back... Oh, okay, so all of the card backs on each character will consider your skill at the beginning of the game, so your opponent will have to guess which skill you decided to use. So keep in mind while you're making plays. Once you meet the activation requirements, when there are no cards resolving on the chain, you can announce that you're activating your skill and flip over and resolve the skill. Skills do not use the chain. It cannot be responded to. So here's an exclusive look at the brand new My Valentine Skill. So basically, skill card at the start of the duel, flip this card over. Okay, so skill card. This card's activation requirements is at the start of the duel, so you'll flip this card over. While the example on the front side of the card is such, here's what we get on the back side. So this is what she says, skill, first edition, okay? Tribal Synergy. So if you have an Amazoness monster and a Harpy monster in your hand, reveal them and draw 1 card. If you control an Amazoness monster and Harpy monster, draw 2 cards. Each of these skills can only be used once per duel. Now this is interesting. So I have a potential ability to draw 3 cards built into my already main decked thing. Now this gives me hope because these skills aren't going to be too broken, because once again this is IRL Duel Links. You can't have a skill that randomly is like Hearthstone. It's like add 1 random card from the game to your hand. Like, that's not how this works. Konami definitely tried to make it appeasable to some degree. Now, Amazons and Harpies in the same deck, this is kind of weird, but I get where they're going with this. So, definitely an interesting synergy, and it does force you to kind of drill in and kind of line the 2 up, so that, oh hey, it's like, you play these, you get rewarded. So, bad cards with bad cards. Going to be interesting to see where this goes, though. But something degenerate's going to happen, and I can already taste this. But not an interestingly bad skill, to say the least. I will say this. Interesting job, Konami. Very, very interested to see where Duel Links goes, and I'm sure a lot of the player base is going to be intrigued just to kind of see where we're going with this in the future as well. So guys, what do you think about the first look at skill cards, amongst other things. Please leave a comment down below. Looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say about this. And I'm out, guys. Peace. The ride never ends, guys. Make sure you enable those notifications to get the latest videos that are being posted on this channel. Make sure you guys check out VanCole40 for my Cardfight Vanguard channel. And join me and House of Champions on the Zodiac Duelist TV Twitch stream. We'll be interacting with our audiences. And please check out No Limit Gaming and LGTCG.com for the cheapest trading cards on the market. Thanks for watching, guys, and please have a good day.